is Cynthia Sue Larson of RealityShifters.com, and today I'm talking about seeing loved ones before they arrive. This is a kind of a new concept to a lot of us. So I'm going to start off with a poem that's really short that I love. This is an excerpt from it. It says, "Love is like magic, and it always will be, for love still remains life's sweet mystery. Love works in ways that are wondrous and strange, and there's nothing in life that love cannot change." That was Helen Steiner Rice. The reason I like that quote is because it's perfect setup for talking about some of these amazing situations where people have reported to the Reality Shifters newsletter experiences where they or loved ones have seen people showing up before they actually got there. This has happened to me. I wrote about it in a previous issue of Reality Shifters over this summer, 2010. And it's also, as I look back on other experiences, something that I think has been happening a lot. And the reason I'm bringing attention to this exact subject is because it was brought to my attention by a woman named Kate of Handwriting That Works, that there is a word that's Norwegian, and it's vardaeger. Now, vardaeger means exactly what I'm talking about here, that it's possible and sometimes expected that you might very well hear the footsteps or see signs of loved ones showing up before they actually do arrive. And when I said it's happened to me, that was when I experienced my daughter showing up before she actually got home. I was able to hear her. In fact, I saw the front door open, but none of that was actually true. I mean, the front door was open, but she wasn't there. So it's very interesting kind of a phenomenon. It's also known in Finland as something, pardon the pronunciation, pronounced something like atienen. Atienen? I don't speak. My Finnish is not so good. But you get the idea that this is a concept that's been out there for a long time, thousands of years. People have been talking about it, and only now am I learning this is something that we can talk about with respect to reality shifts in the way that our consciousness changes the physical world. So when I look back at other things that have happened to me, I'm thinking about times that I was once seen to be bilocating. It's happened a couple of times. My daughters once saw me flip on the light switch to their bedroom, and they saw me wake them up. And actually, I was in bed the whole time. They came running to my bedroom to find me in bed and said, "What are you doing back in bed?" I write about this in my book, Reality Shifts, When Consciousness Changes the Physical World. Another time was relatively recently, a couple years ago. I was actually at a holistic expo and daydreaming that I was out walking on the street, a beautiful street near where I live, and just thinking that that would be so nice. And then a few days later, I got an email from a woman who had seen me on that very street, and she was aware that I was actually supposed to be at a holistic fair that day. And so she asked where I'd been that day. I told her, but I had been daydreaming. And clearly, there's something about daydreaming. There's something that allows us to travel. I love that word shift. I use it in Reality Shifters, of course. I like to think of the fact that when we're shifting gears on a car, we're going between a couple of different levels of consciousness, of accessing the gears of reality. So when we go between them, it seems like in a daydream state, anything is possible. And some readers share their experiences with that this month in the October 2010 Reality Shifters. I also want to talk to you this month about a book called Deep Brain Learning, and it's something that I find very useful for all of the people that are doing emergency kinds of intervention counseling for troubled youth, as well as anybody that's a counselor in general, maybe working with families. I think it's even useful for all parents, and I am being pretty broad when I say that. The book itself is called, subtitled, Pathways to Potential with Challenging Youth, but as you can see, if I just flip through it, it's got little charts and diagrams. I'm trying to find one now. But it's got pictures that illustrate really simple concepts that anybody can learn, and it's not a heavy textbook at all, although it does reference a lot of phenomenal studies and various sources of information about the brain, the way that we learn. But what I find so useful about this book is that it describes in words that anybody can follow and understand how to create the kind of respectful, nurturing, supportive culture that children today need, when otherwise they're feeling pretty disconnected. So the adults are wondering, what's wrong with today's youth? why are they doing so many things that are so destructive? And the children are wondering, what happened to today's elders? Where are the adults that are helping to be there when I'm in a crisis? It seems like there's that division between the generations. So in indigenous cultures where that division has not broadened so deeply as it has in some Western cultures, we can learn a lot from ways of respecting even the very young, giving what we would consider to be children responsibilities, and really knowing that we can trust them and finding ways to have a deep conversation with them. So this is a fabulous book full of lots of great tools, and I do recommend it for anybody that has any experience whatsoever with young people. And if you don't, I would encourage you to have experiences with young people. I don't think it's just for troubled youth. I think this is a guidebook for improving communications. And so, until next time, I hope you keep asking the question, how good can it get? And maybe you'll experience some of those wonderful experiences like the Varde Ager and get to see what we're talking about this month. Hope you have a fabulous month. Take care.